welcome back to Rise the Podcast. I'm Kara.
And I'm Brownie, and Jeremy is missing today.
So our special guest is none other than BB-8.
A worthy replacement, I'd say.
I'd agree. He's super cute.
Upgraded from the floor to the chair. I think it's pretty worth it.
Yes.
So, and this is the weird Thursday edition of the podcast because we had to delay it because I was ill over the weekend. I'm still not 100% recovered, but
you feeling a heck of a lot better?
A lot better. It would have been a disaster.
Now, did you have the flu or what did you have?
Well, so I feel like it was like a combination of two different things. It started out with just, I had like a fever that was like insane. So I was just like super sweaty, but I was also like shivering really hard.
That sounds like the flu.
And then like just like body soreness, but like no, I didn't have any like congestion or anything like that to begin with.
Did you have a fever?
Yes.
What was your fever?
I don't know, 1 billion. I don't have a thermometer. I was hot. I was like, I could go like this and feel that I was hot.
Dang, boy.
So it wasn't good.
You should get a thermometer because I mean, if you get too high of a temperature, you can, it's not good.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm always
fine,
warm,
right?
so yeah, I'll just like well, we don't have any backlights for this episode. I just realized, but that's
Do you want to
fine.
pop them on really quick?
Yeah, let's do that. Welcome to How the Podcast Works, everybody. We
Jeremy normally does this. I totally Spacey McGee'd it.
I'm too short to activate these lights, so I just realized it now.
Kids who are watching this at home, you step on your couch, your mom will kill you.
Don't step on your couch, especially in the middle of your podcast.
All right, and we're back.
Oh,
just do a jump cut there. Just pop.
Yeah.
Lights are on, yo.
But then my fever went down, but then like I started getting sort of like the runny nose cough thing, and I don't know if it's just two parts of the same thing, but like it was. I ended up excuse me. So I'd called into work on Friday, and before I called into work, so on Thursday I just asked my boss if I could just take Monday off because I wanted to take care of a bunch of stuff. I was like sort of got behind on some things. And I basically just spent 4 days sleeping, just trying to like not feel like garbage. So
that sucks. I know the flu is like super rampant right now. I have a patient who's a nurse, and she was telling me that she works for internal medicine, and she was saying that they are packed with flu patients. Like it's made its run. It's making its run, I should say, through our clinic right now. We've had most of our front desk girls gone because they're sick. It's like,
so yeah.
I wash my hands 5 million times a day, so hopefully I'm okay. But
yeah, and like I've always sort of made it a point to try and make sure that I wash my hands a lot, just because like people are like, don't touch your face or whatever. And it's like I can't help. I wear glasses. Right. I have a face fidgeting thing that goes on.
My hands are all like, well, I guess I go to put my mask on, my hands above my face, like my glasses go on. And honestly, like your nose, your mouth, your eyes, they're all orifices where viruses and stuff can get in. It's not necessarily just your mouth.
Yeah. So it's but I try and like have a higher standard of hygiene, I feel, than most people. Like I in addition to like over and above like using the restroom, I probably wash my hands like 5 to 8 times a day, just like gotta wash my hands. I feel kind of gross or whatever. And I'm also kind of sweaty and like using the keyboard and mouse. I don't like them getting all gross.
Do you ever use like hand sanitizer and stuff?
It dries up my skin. I don't really like hand sanitizer.
And that's what I use at work. Well, like, okay, so in the dental world, there's 4 times that you are required to wash your hands. 5 times. 1, when you show up to work. Before you go to lunch, when you get back from lunch, and when you leave. Otherwise, the 5th time is if your hands are visibly soiled. Otherwise, like that's with soap and water. Otherwise, you can just use hand sanitizer.
Okay.
So,
because I guess you're supposed to be covered
gloved
up
and
the
everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times I'll wash, obviously the times I'm supposed to, but then we have a moisturizing hand sanitizer, and I have noticed that my hands are super dry today, but they're not as dry as they normally get. Like a lot of times this time of year, my hands are cracking and bleeding and just all sorts of nasty.
Thanks, Northern Minnesota.
Right? Lord. Gross. Anyway.
So they're just sort of fighting through. illness or whatever to bring you this wonderful 2-person podcast today.
Exactly.
And then so I was kind of thinking, because like it's top of mind. It's like, what kind of we have any like stories, like legendary stories of illness past or anything like that? And I don't know if you have anything off the top of your head.
You know, I don't think I ever got like that sick as a kid. Like I get the pukes once in a while. And there was one time I remember my entire family went on a walk and I was sick at home and I started coughing and I literally could not cough, like could not catch my breath cough, and I thought I was going to die. But I mean, other than that, I don't know. There's no significant sicknesses that I can think of. I know of one for Jeremy, but.
Okay. Well, so growing up, I used to get a lot of ear infections growing up.
Yeah.
And I remember, actually, this is a completely different story that I just started, but I'm going to tell this one instead. So growing up, like when you're in like elementary school, you have like your emergency contacts, right? So I had like my parents on or whatever. But then also for some reason, our next door neighbor was on one of our emergency contacts. And like they were nice enough next door neighbors and everything.
Right.
But like I don't recall having ever been like inside of their house before. And I ended up having like a really bad ear infection and they couldn't get a hold of my parents, and my neighbor came and picked me up. And I remember leaving school, and then I remember waking up like in like their guest room. I must have been like 7 or 8 years old, maybe.
That had to be a little terrifying.
I wake up, but like the room looks out, I can see my parents' house from there, so I know exactly where I am.
Okay, yeah.
But like I woke up and I had never had, they had it's like crushed brick for like a heating pad. So it's inside of like a knitted thing or whatever, and then it's just made out of like crushed brick, and then you heat that up and it like retains the heat like a brick oven type.
Well, like they used to like back in the day they'd heat potatoes or bricks or whatever and keep it underneath their blankets and stuff on carriage rides and whatever to keep their feet warm.
And I remember being like, this is like it felt super nice, and I have this like really vivid memory of just like waking up and like just like feeling like real crappy, but like how nice like that felt. But it was like weird because it was sort of lumpy, but like it was like a knitted, almost like crocheted like cover over it. So it was like.
Was it itchy?
Not really. I don't think it was like wool or anything, but it was like an
acrylic type.
Yeah.
Yarn.
But let's see, 1 second here. But so I remember that like specifically being like, oh, weird, and I can't remember a specific reason why, because like my dad stayed at home most of mine and my sister's childhood. He was like working on the house and stuff. My mom would work, and he must have had to go and like do something or whatever, and he wasn't there at the time. So it was like I feel like I was only there for a couple hours at my neighbor's place, but it was a disoriented feeling because like like when you get sick, sometimes like stuff just doesn't like line up, your brain isn't working right.
Well, then when you're sick, you just want to be home.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be at somebody else's house. You just want to be in your own bed with your mom right there,
And so then the story that I was going to tell, this is just like a regular, like a fever type of thing or whatever. And I'd gone home early from work. This is in high school. I left work early because I was sick. And I go home and I take a shower and I go to bed and I wake up and what feels like, maybe a couple hours later, like I went to bed, it was dark. I woke up, it was dark.
Did you sleep 24 hours?
It was literally the next day plus a couple of hours later. I was like, I was like, oh, it's like 8 o'clock at night. The next day, what?
That had to be disorienting. Like, what just happened to 24 hours?
Yeah,
my entire day.
Yeah, an entire day of my life just vanished like instantaneously.
I'm surprised your mom didn't come up. Chris, it's time to get out of bed. Stop being lazy.
Well,
every mom.
Yeah, they knew I was sick.
Okay.
So.
All right. So they were okay with you just chilling.
Apparently, and I might have I to the best of my recollection, I was out the entire time. But like,
dang,
who knows if I was like groggy,
like a feverish kind of
So, but it was an insane type of feeling, which reminds me of another non-sickness related story. Now we're just going down childhood memory lane. So every summer we would go out. We have a family cabin in Michigan that on my dad's side of the family that a bunch of people would go to, and the tradition was we'd leave at 4 a.m. to get there. It's like a 5.5 or 6 hour drive or something.
So you want to get there in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we're all like getting ready to go to bed in advance of the thing. Like my aunt, so my dad's sister, and my cousin and stuff would like come over because we're all gonna like caravan down together. And I don't know why I thought this. It was like I recall us having like a pull-out couch bed type of situation happening.
A hide bed.
Yeah, so then it's like my sister and my cousin and me, we're all like young, whatever. Like, so we're just all crashing on that. And I was like, I remember I just like face planted onto this pillow, and I was like, I'm gonna go to sleep right now. And I face planted on the pillow, and then I just pop right back up. And literally, I had somehow passed out and slept the entire. I instantly had fallen asleep, and then when I popped up later, it was time for us to leave.
Oh my gosh.
I was like awake and alert and everything. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to bed now. Plop. It was like, well, that didn't work.
And it literally happened.
Yeah. And it was like, and I remember having the thought like, this is dumb. And I popped my head back up, and literally it was now time for us to leave.
I wish I could fall asleep like that. Nowadays, I toss and turn in bed. Maybe I just need to tell myself, I'm going to fall asleep now.
It was like literally, it was like just the strangest, like instantaneous passage of time. I didn't feel like I had slept at all. I felt like I just like went,
like, did you wake up in the same position basically?
You know, like literally it felt like, so like imagine like you're like a kid, you're like on your knees or whatever, and you just like down on like face first onto a pillow and then just pop back up. That's the experience that I had.
Crazy.
So like 3 seconds of time had lapsed, but it was 8 hours later.
Crazy. So it must have just been like a dreamless sleep. Just there it is.
Yeah, my body's like, okay, if you want me to shut off, I guess that's what's happening.
I wish. I mean, how nice would it be to have an off switch? Just like, boop, sleep time, and just have your body, like an alarm set for your body where you just automatically turn back on. You know, how nice would that be instead of tossing and turning at night and waking up in the middle of the night? And
no, 100%. Actually, so like speaking of like being sick now, like, so I had like, you ever like hear yourself like wheezing when you're breathing?
Yes.
And it's so annoying. Like I'm trying to sleep and all I hear is, and it's like, gosh, I wish I could just, you know, so it's like, I'm just like, I'm hot and miserable, and it's like, stop it, lungs, I hate you.
do you ever like, it's going to be gross, I'm sorry, but like, do you ever have a booger in your nose? So when you breathe through your nose, it almost clicks.
I get like a whistly noise.
Yeah, I've had that too, but it's like, what the heck? It's like, no matter what you do, you can blow your nose, you can, I mean, do everything, and it doesn't stop. It's just, I can't sleep if I hear that click. It's like, click every breath, and I'm like, I can't do this.
Something that I found that helps is like we have a really small bathroom at the place where I'm at now, and my roommate, for some reason, the hot water heater is set to like steam. So if you turn just the hot water on, it gets really like steamy in the bathroom like really fast. So it's sort of like, that's what I ended up doing is I just turned the hot water on. I just sort of sat in the bathroom for like 10 minutes.
Nice. Just
sort of like hyper humidifying myself. And that sort of like helped like sort of like clear my sinuses and everything. And that's how it ended up, that same, where the story came from, that's actually how I ended up going to bed. So
yeah, I know some people like, they'll take like I don't know, a clean sock or whatever, and then fill it with stuff, and then put like peppermint oil or eucalyptus oil in it and hang it on their shower head.
Oh, okay.
And so then when the hot water hits it, it like permeates. And so then you get that cooling, like mentholy kind of smell, and it just like clears you out.
Interesting.
I know a lot of people who use neti pots too.
I that feels like almost too close to drowning for me, for my body to
I've
let
never
me do
tried it. Have you done it?
My mom has one, and she's like, oh, yeah, just do this, or whatever. And it's like, it's sort of like the same idea to me. Not this negative health repercussions, but like smoking. Like I can't tell my body to breathe in smoke, right?
Okay, yeah.
You know, so it's like the same thing is like my body is designed to prevent water from going into,
right.
Like, you know, so I just can't do it.
All right. I've never tried one. And I've been like, don't use tap water. There was some lady who got some brain-eating bacteria.
Yeah, you get like Legionnaire's disease or something like that. From
it. So only use distilled water. Don't use tap water, period.
I need fluoride in my sinuses.
Right? And seriously, got to strengthen those sinus passages. But so Jeremy, and it kind of ties in with dental. It's kind of funny. Jeremy, when he was a young kid, I think he said like 2 or something like that, he got a super high fever to the point that the doctors didn't know if he was actually going to make it.
Oh, dang.
And I mean, obviously he pulled through. He's here, but
Spoiler.
Oh my gosh. Jeremy's actually.
He make it?
We've been editing him in this whole time. I don't actually have a husband.
Hologram Jeremy.
Right. But if you look at his teeth, there's a clear line across the middle of them. So what happens is if you as a child, when your adult teeth are developing, if you get a super high fever, your body stops developing your teeth and it starts fighting the virus.
Dang.
And so a lot of times what happens is there's that line. It's just, it's not as calcified. It's not as hard as the rest of your tooth. And it shows across your teeth.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So you can see at what point of your tooth development you got that fever.
It's like rings for a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you have multiple lines if it happens multiple times then, I would assume?
I've never seen it multiple times, but yeah, I suppose it could.
Interesting.
It had to happen pretty back to back, I guess. So.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. Not cool, but.
It's cool because he lived. It'd been
Right.
tragic if he would have died.
Right, seriously. I don't think this podcast wouldn't be a thing. I probably wouldn't even know you if it wasn't for Jeremy.
Yeah. Good job, Jeremy.
Yay.
You being alive helped.
Anyway.
Do you think he's going to watch this? I don't even know if he watched the last one.
He better watch this. Come on.
We got to be like, okay, Jeremy, if you watched this, you have to comment in the comment section below.
Yeah.
With a timestamp or something saying like, I watched this, love Jeremy.
Right, I know exactly. How far are we into this?
We're like 16 minutes in.
16 minutes. Okay, so we'll see.
We will see.
He has to comment the timestamp when he heard us say that.
Yep.
I like it. We'll see how good he is.
Got to catch Jeremy out.
So anyway, Chris brought up the idea of talking about sicknesses and stuff like that. And so my thought was, okay, what are sicknesses from Star Wars? And we all know about the carbonite sickness.
Yep.
Or the hibernation sickness.
Yeah.
So I did a little quick Google search. And StarWars.com came up with an article called, what was it? The Flempire Strikes Back.
That's some quality writing, StarWars.com.
I think it's hilarious.
You did it.
I didn't think it was like an article by StarWars.com. I thought it was like some random other,
That'd definitely be like Christine.blogspot.net.
Right. And then I click on it and nope, StarWars.com. Anyway, they came out with, I read one of them to you.
Yep.
But they have 7 different sicknesses within the Star Wars universe. And I was scrolling through it and I think some of it's legends, but still it's a Star Wars sickness, right?
Yep.
So.
You got to take what they give you.
Exactly. So should I just read this?
Yeah, let's go through these and see how terrible they are.
Okay, so the first one I read through, and it's kind of gross. It's called the brain rot plague. So all right, here we go. The first one says, if drinking 30 flags of flame out isn't enough to rot your brain, then you can always contract brain rot plague. This horrific airborne virus targets humanoids and cephalopods, attacking the central nervous system, causing nausea, sweats, communication breakdown, and if untreated by immunization, a swift death. Used by the Separatists during the Clone Wars as a form of germ warfare, brain rot plague, otherwise known as Lodorvian brain plague, wiped out the entire humanoid population of Wemel sector, leaving it uninhabitable. It even struck the Monarai Heights area of Coruscant, leading to public service announcements and awareness campaigns by the Coruscant health officials. And it comes in 3 different variations, A, B, and C, like hepatitis.
Huh.
Actually, there's more than hepatitis, but okay. So if it doesn't get
Wait, hold on. There's more than 3 types of hepatitis?
Oh, yeah. There's quite a few. But you just, the other ones are so rare you don't hear about them.
Okay,
so
fair.
So if it doesn't get to you the first time, there's always 2 other types lurking around to get you later.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Right. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so it got to parts of Coruscant, and now there's public health announcements. Coronavirus.
Yeah. Oh,
Jerry's going to be the one to share it amongst the Duluth Cloquet area.
And of course, it'd have to be something like, I think that the screening or whatever, like he's probably fine or whatever. But of course, it's like right when this thing happens, he's in China.
Yeah. So Jeremy's dad was in China when they announced, when coronavirus was beginning to happen. He'd been there probably 2 weeks at that point.
Yep.
And we were like, Jerry, you need to come home. And he was like, no, it's fine. Later that evening, we get a call from Annie, who had just talked to Jerry. And she's like, yeah, he's coming home. He's freaked out.
He probably got talked to by a lot of people.
Oh, I'm sure. But how terrifying would it be to be a person in China, like an American in China, or like anybody in China during this thing? be horrifying.
I feel like, wasn't it something where like China like underreacted to it initially or whatever?
I think so,
like
probably.
I'm sure that like he wasn't being exposed to a bunch of news or like I don't know how much Chinese he understands even. So I can't vouch for how, like his fluency.
Yeah. I have no idea. I've never heard him speak Chinese.
So you know, it's like if he's not in a place where it's like he can easily understand all the stuff that's being communicated about it, he probably wouldn't think that it's a big deal. But like if people even tell him it's like it's a big deal, you need to get out of there. I can see how that could like slowly be like, I need to get the heck out of here.
Right. Let's actually look this up, see what's going on. Oh boy, gone.
So,
but anyway, this is a horrible thing, brain rot plague, and I guess I didn't read enough of it to realize that it was basically not chemical warfare, but
germ warfare.
Germ warfare. Isn't there an actual name for that?
What? Biological
warfare. Yeah, that's it. So the Separatists played dirty. And here's the thing. The Separatists didn't really have to worry about it because their entire thing was droids.
Yep.
You know, I mean, except for a few, like there's the spider guy. What's his name?
I can't remember. I actually started watching
Admiral
Clone Wars
something.
And I've seen that guy. Yeah, he's like...
Yep. And spoiler, if you watch the new Clone Wars trailers, he's not dead.
I didn't know that he was maybe dead. I haven't gotten that far in. I'm like season 2.
You didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So I guess I thought.
Oh no, because the ship gets blown up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah.
I saw that
so
episode.
I was like,
yeah, no, I did see that part.
Okay, cool. I was like, you're in season 2 and you haven't seen that yet? Wait,
yeah,
what?
no, yeah,
Okay.
it's mid-season 1. My bad.
So I mean, there's a few humanoids in the the Separatist, Separatist Senate
Dooku.
and stuff like that. Count Dooku, but
Grievous
all in
is
all,
sort of humanoid.
kind of, but he's more droid.
What was he before he became a droid?
He was some weird. I think there is an episode. Wait, isn't the episode with Goldie? Doesn't Ahsoka see statues of his kind?
No, because that one's there's
Oh, never mind.
They go to Grievous's like lair at some point.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and you just see like all of his replacement parts.
Yeah. So there's an episode where you see a Mon Calamari Jedi and Kit Fisto go to like his actual.
Yeah, I saw that one.
You saw that one. And I'm pretty sure there's statues.
Oh, maybe I didn't know. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention.
Because I remember seeing the statues and I was like, wait, that looks like Grievous if he wasn't a droid.
I'm gonna have to go back and take another look.
So look at that. I don't know what species he was. I don't think he almost looks like a Doug, like the face shape.
Yeah, he does.
But I don't know what technically he is. I feel horrible. I feel like I should know this. Comment below if you know what kind of alien Grievous actually is.
Yeah, the world needs to know.
Right. And like the meme on our Facebook page says, be more like Grievous. He coughs into his hand even on a ship full of droids.
Yep. It's just good etiquette.
It is. Oh, look at my mom's calling me. Nope, Mom, sorry. I'm going to have to decline. So do you have anything else to say about brain rot plague?
Nope. I think that's terrible enough on its own. We've got about 6 minutes left, so we can sort of blast through these.
Okay, so obviously it's a hibernation sickness, which Han had. Cool, whatever.
We were all familiar with that one the most.
There's one called Virus 606, and it's actually German chemical warfare.
So that's 2 out of 3 of the listings so far.
Synthetically developed to take down its enemies with fatal... Virus 606 was synthetically developed to take down its enemies and was fatal without exception. So, like, that's it. Done. So no immunization, no nothing.
That's the Avada Kedavra of
basically.
Star Wars.
Crazy. Whew. Okay.
Yep,
so then there's the Mon Calamari nerve shock.
That sounds terrifying, too.
Yep. Mon Calamari children had extra levels of danger facing when growing up. No, I'm not talking about peeing in the pool. I mean a deadly virus called Mon Calamari nerve shock, fatal if not immunized against. The disease would lay dormant for years before exploding inside its host and attacking the nervous system. By this time, it was already too late to save the patient, and so a process of immunization was started to inoculate Mon-called youngsters and bypass the disease's terrible effects.
So... it's polio, and they probably had anti-vax Mon Calamarians.
Yes.
All right.
So this one is called, Quanat syndrome, and it's from the book Children of the Jedi. It looks like it's got Luke on the cover and some lady. So, did Luke have a lover? Okay, anyway.
This seems Legends to me.
It is Legends. It says a debilitating disease. This causes so much excruciating pain to its victim that only large doses of the painkiller Perogen can hold it at bay, but no medical intervention can cure it. In the novel, the trainee Jedi Nikos Mar is stricken by the disease and unable to cure him, his lover Cray Mingla attempts and fails to transfer his consciousness to a droid body, proving that even in the Star Wars galaxies, there are some things you can do, and some things you cannot do. Is it pronounced can do and some things you cannot do? Anyway.
I think because of the name of the disease.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair play.
This one also looks like it might be Legends, but Erie Cooley disorder.
Sorry, could you say it one more time?
Erie Cooley disorder.
Oh, that sounds kind of neat.
Yeah. In a galaxy serviced by automatons for millennia, the thought that people might be afraid of droids may seem somewhat akin to having a fear of fridges. But as technology developed and grew, some droids were designed to be more and more human-like in appearance. This in turn led to the discovery of Erie Cooley disorder, or ECD, whereby humanoid species felt wary and uncomfortable around such machines. Anyone with ECD, meeting Prince Zizor's human replica droid Guri, would almost certainly have felt more than a small sense of apprehension, and it's likely one of the reasons why droids were largely designed to be more functional and practical in their design and less smooth and organic. So it's not necessarily a deadly virus or anything. It's like a fear. It's a phobia. Yeah.
That's probably what that bartender has.
Right? We don't serve droids here.
Oh my goodness.
So this one looks like it Clone Wars again, or maybe those are Stormtroopers. Okay. This one might be the most terrifying of the 7. A mere bite or scratch from an infected host within a span of 6 to 48 hours, you turn into a Rakghoul. This is Rakghoul Plague.
Oh.
A monstrous, mindless creature brought about by a Sith-engineered disease concocted by the ancient Sith Lord Carnus Mur. Attempting to cheat death, as all Sith do, Mur transferred his will and power into the Mur Talisman, an amulet which could transform nearby sentient beings into Rakghouls, and in turn those Rakghouls could infect and turn almost any other sentient being other than Force sensitives. It's another disease with 2 strains, the Bozan strain and the Hirano strain, and it had no cure. Surviving from the ancient Sith times through the era of Cade Skywalker, this was easily transferred as a firm handshake and was carried by every Rakghoul in existence. And yes, it caused as much death and destruction as the Star Destroyer.
Interesting.
Yep.
So they didn't just have like space colds. They had stuff that just ruined your life.
Yeah.
Or ended it.
So there were 7. I'm sorry we blazed through them, but it's a short podcast.
Yep.
Jeremy's not here.
Yeah, he's not here to ramble on and on.
'Tis true.
So, yeah, a list of Star Wars sicknesses. You know what would be really sick? If you put a like on this video, if you made it this far in. We've probably earned it at this point. Comment down below if you know of any other Star Wars diseases that will just literally terrify you into not wanting to go into that universe ever again. Subscribe if you're not already. Ring the notification bell. It means a lot to us. It shows you're on board with what we're doing. And you want to see every time we upload a video. Man, I don't know why that sounded so
Words
awkward.
are hard. It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
And you're sick. You're good.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
And may the Force be with you.